Welcome back, everyone. In today's episode, we will focus on President-elect Donald Trump's Day One agenda. He promised mass deportations of unauthorized immigrants. He spoke about launching 100% tariffs on many foreign countries. He's also discussed changes to U.S. tax code. Specifically, he said that he would cut taxes, and he also discussed many more important changes with substantial economic implications. With the inauguration being just days away, let's walk through what we may expect during the first several days of the new administration in terms of policy changes. In this video, we will focus on those things that will have an economic impact primarily. Donald Trump promised to launch a major deportation effort, which he referred to as, quote, the largest deportation effort in American history. Those are his words. And he said he would do so during the first day in office. There are several key angles to discuss this, of course, such as human security, national security, relations with source countries. All of those are equally important. I don't want to dismiss any of them. However, I will focus on the possible economic impact of such a decision. First of all, undocumented and legal immigrants in the United States are primarily employed in three sectors. They're primarily employed in retail, in hospitality, and in construction. If and when any legal deportation activities begin, those three sectors will be affected in terms of human resources that are available to continue the work. According to the Center for Migration Studies, there were nearly 12 million undocumented immigrants in the United States as of mid-2023. Now, I do think that the real number is much, much higher. But still, this official number gives us a good ballpark of what we're dealing with. The increase was primarily triggered by the Biden administration policies. We know this very well. Based on this illustration, the sharp rise, that jump in illegal immigration in 2022 is absolutely unquestionable. So deportation efforts of this magnitude would without a doubt require substantial taxpayer funds. Donald Trump has mentioned before that, quote, it is not a question of a price tag, so to him, price doesn't matter. But of course, we have to understand that taxpayer funds will be diverted to these efforts to deport people, to house them. So with that, we should likely expect such efforts to ramp up with the help of private and government entities, and obviously with the help of public funds that would be diverted to house, to transport individuals as they're being escorted out, let's just say. The second order of business may be working with the IRS to implement changes to the U.S. tax code, specifically to tax laws on individuals and corporations. Trump shared several tax policy ideas previously, such as extending the expiring 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. He also thought about bringing back the deduction for state and local taxes, about reducing the corporate tax rate for domestic production, which may be a good thing to sort of stimulate manufacturers. He discussed rolling out exemptions for various types of income from the income tax, about repealing green energy tax credits, and imposing steep new tariffs, which we will discuss in just a minute in more detail. All of those options are still on the table. With respect to taxes, Trump is looking to extend all of the personal income tax cuts, as well as further reduce the corporate tax rate. He also promised to repeal taxes on tips, on overtime and Social Security checks, as well as lift the current cap on the state and local tax deduction. Now, whether or not tax reductions will be implemented remains to be seen. I think that we have to be skeptical here. It is fair to be skeptical because we are dealing with an unprecedented level of national debt and budget deficits. Reducing taxes will further decrease tax revenues for the federal government, which will likely become a strong argument against any major tax cuts. The Federal Reserve likely stands on shaky grounds with Trump back in office, particularly because Fed Chair Jerome Powell and Donald Trump appear to have a complicated, let's just say, relationship. Trump previously said that he would not oppose demoting Powell. I think many of you probably feel the same. But of course, it may not be in his direct authority to do so. In turn, Powell said that he would not step down even if Trump asks him to leave. So whether or not the two can cooperate on economic policy effectively remains to be seen. Donald Trump is likely to increase support for protectionism, which means that we'll descend deeper into a form of a trade war with China primarily, as well as with other countries. Trump extensively spoke about hiking tariffs, but in my opinion, we need to keep in mind that his apparent over-reliance on import tariffs is likely meant to offset the cost of tax cuts. So the outcome of that move is very unpredictable in the current geopolitical scenario, and also the end consumer does end up covering the cost of any increases to the cost of imported goods. So don't let anyone fool you. Just because we might have higher tariffs at some point this year, it doesn't mean that life will get easier for an average person, for an average consumer who would like to buy goods at an affordable price point. Just because you hear that taxes will be cut, possibly, and foreign states will pay tariffs, it doesn't mean that consumers will be the ultimate beneficiaries of such policies. Trump will still need to get Congress to approve tax cuts anyway, which means that it is not something that will be rolled out easily and without any opposition. Additionally, remember that corporate tax leeways and loopholes will always be prioritized, and those will be discussed, negotiated, and passed first. Now, let's discuss tariffs. Trump appears to support a 20% duty on all foreign goods imported into the United States, and he also supports 60% or even higher tariffs on goods coming from China. That is the trade war that I mentioned about a minute ago. Those are very, very steep tariffs, and it is unlikely that such a dramatic plan will gain a wide support. Now, do you want to pay 20% more on items that you buy that are not manufactured in the United States? Let me know in the comments below. What do we manufacture here in the United States that you're able to buy, that's available for purchase? And if it is, does that price point work for your budget? If it increases in price, are you still going to be able to purchase it? Let us know in the comments below. There is a possibility that Donald Trump will use the threat of tariffs as a negotiating tactic, of course, similarly to what he did with not ruling out a military intervention to gain control of Greenland. Alternatively, his team may apply higher tariffs very, very selectively. Increasing tariffs is not a way to help an average consumer, an average American, and I'm sure that his economic advisors would likely lean towards a much more moderate policy that would not create substantial obstacles and tensions in relations with global trade partners and obstacles for free trade. We'll continue this topic. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. Comment below if you would like to see more similar videos on my channel. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned something from it. Remember to show your support. It goes a long way. It means a lot to me. Like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.